what's good? So Lamar Jackson made this tweet the other day, and I was like, yeah, it's about time somebody said something. And this is coming off the heels of Angel Reese and the WNBA players getting upset at the racist trolls, and just understanding how popularity takes at you, and you get more critics, the more popular you become, and you get more trolls. Even here, so you can't control that. But other players who play on grand, platforms like the NFL, they've been dealing with that. Yeah, I'm sure Lamar's been called every N-word derogatory term you could come up with, but they also deal with the sports gamblers and the addicts. And the Ravens have won 2 back-to-back games after starting out 0-2, but Lamar was short. He had, 156 yards passing, 2 touchdown passes, but he was a little short on a couple of statistics, and fans were giving him a tough time about it. And he went off on the fans and said, this is a team sport, capitalized team. I'm not out here satisfied when I throw for 300 yards, but I took an L. But if I threw for 50 yards and we win, that's what the F matters. Stop complaining, commenting on our socials about the yards y'all FanDuel and parlays ain't hit. Thumbs down. And it's about time. Because this is a over $245 billion has been made in wages for the last, 6 years since they made this legalized in 2018. Because prior to that, you had to go to Vegas to bet sports. It was illegal. But now, you got DraftKings, BetMGM, you got it legalized almost everywhere. It's weird to me when things that used to be shameful when I was coming up is now considered good or legal, let alone they encouraging it. Gambling was no. I remember the Tim Donaghy thing in the NBA when he was betting on the Lakers. Rest in peace, Pete Rose just died. Pete Rose was a manager. He's the all-time hits leader. He was banned from the Hall of Fame for that. And now, 30 years later, Shohei Ohtani gets caught gambling and no one says nothing, right? Gambling is legalized. It's everywhere. And the way that they do it, and I know they use different demographics, but just me being a black man and watching what I watch, if you watch any of these podcasts that are popular amongst us, they promote and encourage gambling to majority black audiences that really living paycheck to paycheck. A lot of y'all can't afford and should not be gambling. Let's just be real, right? If you living paycheck to paycheck, you probably shouldn't be out here trying to pay, trying to wage bets, but people do it anyway. You watch Shannon Sharp on them, they talking about DraftKings. Gilly is promoting it. Joe Budden's promoting it. Prize Picks. These are shows that get millions of views weekly by majority of who you think is watching these, right? And then on top of the dozen commercials they throwing at us while we watching the game. So they'll talk you to it and be like, oh man, and I've done it a couple times, Prize Picks. I'm not trying to preach to nobody, but it's like, oh, you put down 25 and you could get 250, and it all sounds great. FanDuel, all of that stuff. And then you got people who get hooked on this. I had a coworker, he was fumbling his whole paycheck. It was getting crazy. He had to stop. It gets to a point where it's addicting. All you got to do is win once or twice, and before you know it, you hooked on it. And then it's unfair to these athletes to have to live up to, not only winning, but then that y'all coming at people for money that oh man, you had me short on my parlay. So it's his fault you can't pay your rent? Get out of here, man. You got people gambling is supposed to be something fun that people who have money that can afford to, risk gambling can do. It's something for if you have the money to do it. But if you really can't afford to do it, you really ain't got no business out here doing it, man. But yeah, it's crazy because when things that used to be shameful is now being encouraged, it's like my antennas go up. So it's like even with weed was looked down upon. Now look at Snoop. Snoop's like the American icon. You know what I'm saying? There's dispensaries everywhere, smoke shops on every corner. They're encouraging us to gamble. It's just be careful. When they start pushing stuff, it's usually a catch. It's no different than when you see a prescription commercial and then it's they try to squeeze in the little side effects at the end, could cause diarrhea, blah, 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 blah. And you're like, hold up, right? And it's the same thing. They'll squeeze in a little call the 1-800 gambling hotline number if you're hooked on gambling. It's a crisis and stuff. But they will make this seem like this is just normal. And like I say, they promote this to every regular day people. This ain't just people that you see in an alley. The way that they market this, oh man, it's all good. and they encourage it. You know what I mean? Like these numbers, that numbers. Now football, like I say, football is risky, especially right now with all these injuries. Players is out left and right. It's a very unpredictable game, but you know somebody's addicted. When I know cats that only watch basketball and football, but they get to a point where they so hooked, they're betting wages on volleyball games, WNBA, boxing, anything, UFC, anything they could get their hands on. They'll wrestling. WWE is got DraftKings and shit. I'm like, yo, y'all are betting on scripted pro wrestling? Like, y'all know this is made up. Like, people is hooked, man. And I'm like, yeah, if you can afford it, and they say if you can't afford it, if you can't buy it twice, go ahead. I'm not trying to tell nobody what to do, but I just noticed this is getting crazy. But but the fantasy football stuff years ago was out of hand. But now the fact that people are really getting in their feelings when they place these bets and then they take it out on the athletes, like, nah, man, it's not. Don't get mad. Oh, they need to do their job. No, how about you get a job, right? Get a better one. Maybe you can afford to gamble, or you won't have to gamble at all. Let me know what y'all think about Lamar Jackson going off on these degenerate gamblers online. Hit the like button, like, share, subscribe.